Last week, I bought some gold, silver, and platinum. And then, of course, immediately afterwards, the price started to drop like a stone. So that deal that I thought I was getting that was good, the next day it didn't feel quite so good, let me tell you. And that reaction, that buyer's remorse, is a perfectly normal, natural reaction for investors in precious metals. Most people who've bought this stuff will have that reaction when they see the price go down. Now, we always forget those beautiful occasions when we buy and the price immediately shoots up and we've got that fantastic deal. These stick in our heads a little bit more, and that's perfectly normal. Hello everyone, I'm Backyard Bullion, and I like to have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. And that buyer's remorse question, that regret that you feel when buying at the peaks, whether it be last week and seeing a small drop or at the beginning of the year, January, when I was at the coin fair buying at £4,000 an ounce for gold and seeing it being at £3,200 an ounce right now. That sucks, yeah, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, buying for the right reasons, buying for that long term, acquiring precious metals, saving money, all these things are really, really important and good things. And talking about the negatives is really important. So I'd love to know what you think down in the comment section below, how you handle these situations, how you react to them, how it affects your purchasing, because I know a lot of people have been put off precious metals. And in fact, you see this a lot in the markets right now. When you have items go up on secondary markets, second-hand places, it doesn't sell as fast as it did when the price was super high and rising, let me tell you. And you see dealers offering great deals right now. You see the Royal Mint even offering really cheap premiums, which is unlike them, let me tell you. But I think they have to react to the way the market is. Are we all bought out? Has everyone bought what they want to buy? But with prices where they are right now, one would argue most certainly this is the time to buy. But let me tell you, it still feels expensive for a seasoned stacker. If a year ago you'd told me it was £50 an ounce for silver, I'd have been laughing my way to the bank saying, yes, please, give me all the silver you can. But now, I guess it feels a little bit expensive still for me. Does it feel expensive for you? I don't know. So, what did I buy in Switzerland? We're also going to talk about the buying experience from this fantastic company that I found in Switzerland, Syncona Trading, or Syncona Group. Also, I brought this back into the UK. What implications does that have from a tax perspective, from VAT, from any savings? Is it worth traveling to Switzerland to buy silver and platinum? Perhaps not so much gold because it's tax-free here in the UK. Well, the short answer to that is no, it's probably not worth booking a flight to Switzerland specifically to buy silver and platinum, but it's still a pretty cool experience. So let's dive in and talk about my buying experience. I did not specifically fly to Switzerland to buy precious metals. I was on a sneaky squirrel holiday, little railway-based holiday across Europe. I started in northern Italy and made my way through the beautiful Alps on the Bernina Express, fantastic rail journey if you've never done it through the Alps, and then found myself in Zurich. And I thought, I'm wandering the streets of Zurich, and I thought, when in Rome, or more specifically, when in Zurich, it would be kind of nice to buy some precious metals and talk about my experience. It wasn't a work holiday, but I thought, let's give it a go. So on one of the long train journeys I had, I was looking up the different options for coin sellers, and there are quite a few in Switzerland, in Zurich, and I thought, this will be the one for me, Syncona Trading, because they were the cheapest. And also I wanted to buy PAMP stuff because I wanted Swiss stuff. I just want to go and buy a Britannia in Switzerland. That's not good. These are kind of nice pieces to remember my trip by. So went and found Syncona Trading, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them after a quick word from today's sponsor, which incidentally, we're also going to break out and have a look at the pieces I bought and see whether or not they are real, because that's an important thing to consider too. We are very proudly sponsored by Trusty Metrics, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal testing machines. They are fantastic bits of kit, worth their weight in gold, in my opinion. They've helped me grow my business and my stack and have that peace of mind that all the gold and silver that I own and that I buy is indeed real gold and silver. Something that if you're a business is imperative, but if you're a stacker, that peace of mind, as I said, is worth its weight in gold. Now, Trusty Metrics are a fantastic organization, a small family-run business that provides customer service second to none. And I have first-hand experience of getting their technical help and expertise when I've been trying to test big chunky bars of silver like this, or just getting to grips with how the machines run. They are always there. I mean, they've been fantastic for me, even on weekends, to get prompt answers for just simple queries. They are a non-pushy organization, and they have and continue to work with businesses and investors to make sure that the machines that they get are right for them. So if you're interested, you can go and see their website with the full range of machines that they have on offer. And if you're interested, reach out to them and tell them that Backyard Bullion sent you their way. Thank you once again to Trusty Metric for sponsoring our channel. And now back on with our precious metal ramble. So the buying experience from Sigma Trading was absolutely fantastic. Big shout out to them. Now, I'm not being sponsored by them. They were just a really nice company to deal with. And I just rocked up and they had like a window with one of those slots that you slide money and bars of silver and gold under and everything. And I just went in and said, look, I haven't got an appointment or anything, but I'd just like to buy some gold, silver, and ideally some platinum, some PAMP stuff. And they were really nice. They came out. What I would say is they're really competitive in terms of prices and premiums. Fantastic. This one tests perfect. Look at that in the green. And they didn't have any PAMP Swiss platinum, which was a little bit annoying, but I suppose it's not that common of a thing. But what they did have was this incredible 10-gram platinum bar from all the way back in 1985. Look at this. How cool is that? Now, originally, I wanted to buy 5 grams of platinum, not this 10-gram platinum bar, 2 ounces of silver, and a 5-gram gold bar. And the reason being for that is when you bring stuff back into the United Kingdom, you have an allowance, £390, by which you can bring back into the country without having to pay any additional taxes. So these pieces here, perfect, 390 quid, bang on. However, when they brought this 10-gram bar out, I was kind of like, well, it's kind of rude not to because it's so bloody nice. So I bought it, and I am now in the process of declaring and paying the taxes on this through the Gov website. I could have tried to do it at the airport, but there was no one there at the airport when I was going through, and it was late at night when I was coming back, and I didn't want to sit on that bloody red telephone for ages. And you are allowed to do it as long as you do it promptly when you get back in the country. Now, one thing to say is, if there's going to be people in the comment section moaning about, oh, why are you declaring this? You should just pocket it and not tell the government about it. Well, that's first of all VAT fraud, and that's not very good at all. Second of all, use your brain. I'm showing it on a video talking about it. Of course, I'm going to go and pay the bloody taxes. Now, thirdly, in terms of the taxes that I will have to pay, I have paid some tax on this already. 8.1% is the tax rate in Switzerland for VAT on silver and gold. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, from my research, is I will declare this bar, the full purchase price and everything. I will pay the tax on it. And then I have to make a claim through what I think is called the C285 form, which will claim back the 8.1% difference that I've already paid, if that makes sense. So, because I've already paid some VAT to Switzerland, I really should only be paying 11.9%. So when I pay the 20% here, I'm going to be able to claim some of it back. It's all very complicated. It takes ages to do, but it is what it is, basically. So that's going to be the general plan for that. Shout at me all you like in the comment section. I really don't care. I've been audited by HMRC. I know that they take this stuff very seriously. So really important to hone that in to anyone who thinks that they can just go to Switzerland and come back through with a mountain full of gold and silver and platinum in their bags. Not quite so easy. Certainly if you get tripped up at the other end of the ownership of these things. So otherwise, fantastic buying experience from Sigma Trading. Really would highly recommend them. They're fantastic. And of course, going for the PAMP stuff, I was just, definitely PAMP. I could have bought cheaper. So one thing I will say is that there is premium on top of these types of things. Sort of full transparency with the price worked out, including the tax that I paid in Switzerland. These worked out at about £72 each. Could I have bought them around the same price here in the UK? Not from a dealer. They would have been going about £80, £90 from a dealer, I think, depending on who you're buying from. Secondhand market, probably about the same price, give or take. But, we have some savings on those. So I thought, do you know what? It's just nice to have them. I like them. I'm not really overpaying for them, getting them, I think, cheaper than I can probably get them in the UK, and I can remember by trip buy it. So all in, it was a really nice thing to be able to buy. And I do like these PAMP in the assay cards. I think they're really cool. Now the gold, that was cheap relative to spot price. It was only about 1.5% over spot price from memory. And no tax on it either as well, which is good. Could have bought even bigger, could have bought more, but my budget allowed only for 5 grams worth of this, especially when I was then confronted with whether or not I wanted to buy this beautiful 10-gram platinum bar. So 5 grams was all I was allowed myself to buy. And the best thing about this one though is that it's got a little cellophane thing which I can now pull off. And again, people can shout at me all they like in the comment section, but this is one of life's small pleasures for me, to be able to pull cellophane off assay bars and then really see the beauty of these PAMP bars. Love it, fantastic, beautiful stuff. So all in all, I'd say it's probably not worth booking your flights to Switzerland to go and buy a bunch of gold, silver. But what I would say is if you are from the UK and you're traveling out to Switzerland, go and visit Syncona Trading. Say hello from Backyard Bullion. I'm sure they'll remember me because I was very kindly invited back into their back room where we had a sit down and a talk about everything. It was really good. Oh, and the other crazy thing was, so you cool kids will love to see this. In their back room, and I did get permission from them to be able to take this photograph, but in that back room, I saw that they had a 1 kilo coin from CIT. So it's really cool to have, like, we're sponsored by CIT and we do all these coin reviews for them, and suddenly see one of 9 only gold coins there was pretty cool. So that's amazing. Love it. So big shout out to Syncona Trading. Now, in terms of that buyer's remorse, let's finish up and round out the video with that. The long term here is what's more important, and it's what's more important to me. The fact that I have got this stuff and it's not money in the bank account, which, by the way, like if you think, you lose 5-6% because prices have gone down, every year money sitting in the bank, you're losing 5-6%. Inflation, they tell you, is at like 2 or 3%. That's just a load of tosh. For me, I've noticed everything is pretty much doubled in like the last 5 years in terms of prices. It seems everything's more expensive right now. You go out for a meal at a pub, and by the way, I don't understand how they can do this in Europe, but we can't do it here. Like you go out to a restaurant in Europe and you can get a really nice dish of like a really big portion of pasta, certainly in Italy anyway, pasta, wine, really beautiful ambience in a town square in a pretty touristy areas where the Bernini Express or Bernina Express was. So it's a properly tourist town. And you can get that whole meal for like 18 euros. I'm like, what? Beautiful glass of wine, which by the way is the cheap stuff, which here would be able to strip submarines. But in Italy or France, it's bloody nice. And then a beautiful, beautiful plate of pasta, lovely Italian bread to mop up the sugo. How can they do that for 18 euros? I don't know. Here in the UK, you go to a pub and you're paying 30 quid for a meal now. It's ridiculous. Meal and a drink. It's crazy. But anyway, maybe I'm just an old man shouting at clouds. Also, rail travel in Europe, I'm sorry, but what? How expensive is it here in the UK compared to Europe? I went from Milan to Travono, which is where you get the train, 12 euros. That's a 3.5 hour train ride. Cost me 70 quid to get into London from where I am. And that's about an hour. It's ridiculous. And then I had a train ride from Zurich to Hamburg. I booked it in advance, so it is a little bit cheaper. 65 euro for a 10-hour train ride. That would cost you. You'd have to remortgage your house to do that here in the UK, going from the south of England to Edinburgh or something. Anyway, old man shouting at clouds and the price of things. But my point here is still the same, that inflation ruins your money, ruins your cash. So I'd much rather have this stuff because, yes, the price has gone down since I bought it, but I haven't sold it yet. I haven't realized those losses. And so I'm going to be sitting on this until at some point in my life, my investment ownership cycle of it, I will be happy to sell it and realize that profit. And the goal there is to preserve the buying power of the money that I had, maybe make a bit of money on the side with it, who knows? But even if you make a bit of money on the side of it, haven't really made money because you're cashing it back out into fiat and spending it hopefully on a nice plate of pasta and a beautiful glass of wine in the Alpine northern Italy. That's very, very highly recommend it. Very, very cool indeed. So yeah, okay, that's my experience, my trip. It was fun. It was nice to be away, nice to reset, back at it. We've got some cool content coming up. We've got some cool reviews coming up, which should be very cool. That's it from me. We'll see you all on the next video. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.